We're
There it
live.
is.
What's up? What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Untrapped Podcast. Today, I'm beyond excited to introduce you a true leader in our industry. He's the founder of LCR Media, the host of the LCR Summit, and the man behind countless conversations that have helped shape the lawn and landscaping community. Not only is he a successful business owner, but he's also a social media marketing genius who consistently invests in his own education and growth. He leads by example and inspires thousands of entrepreneurs to lead their lives and level up. You like that? Their
That was
businesses.
amazing.
Please help me welcome to the show, Mr. Naylor LCR. What's up, brother?
What's up, my man? That was amazing. How do I follow up with that? And while you were saying that, I just discovered Rookie for Life, man. I've been doing this for so long, and I just discovered how I can turn up the volume on my end on my laptop because I have my board set up and that's on max volume. And I'm like, it'd be nice if I crank it up a little bit more. And I'm playing on my laptop, and now it's like, oh, why didn't I discover that years ago? Whatever. Rookie for Life.
I love it. Bro, so you're here now on the Untrapped Podcast. You're back. You were on the show before, and the show did great, and I'm really excited. It was not only on Apple and Spotify, but it was also all over my social media channels at Keith Kelfis. And I've also been to your LCR Summit. It's amazing. Every year you host a summit where people come and they buy a ticket and they gather and they learn how to basically better their businesses. You could talk about that in a minute. And not only you've been on my podcast, I've been friends with you for like 12 or 14 years now or something.
Since the beginning, man, like OG times.
And there was one more thing. Oh yeah, and then later on, you're going to be a special guest on our Untrapped Alliance private group, teaching this framework of the 4 seasons, how you've modeled business and life. And I'm really excited to learn about that because you're like, what? You found a pattern to this?
Yeah.
So thank
That's
you for
epic.
that. What's up, bro?
What's up, man? What's up? Thanks for inviting me back. I was just thinking, was it the last time I was on? Was I like sitting in my truck and we were doing this? I feel like I was doing something with you. It was like either just a live stream, or was that also a pod? Because don't you just do it all like in one shot, like essentially, or you repurpose it all? So I don't know if you were live and then put that on the podcast or what the scenario was. But the last conversation we had, I think it was leading up to the first LCR summit, right? Like it was two LCR summits ago. Yeah. So I was just sitting in my truck, and you're like, "Are you working? Are you in your truck?" I was like, "Yeah, I just pulled over so I could bang out this content with you, man." And you're like, "That's crazy." And we had a whole another epic spin-off conversation. Like it took the conversation to a whole another level there. But yeah, so that's good times. I mean, I'm not in the truck, but I was in the truck a little while ago. So still getting out there and doing what I got to do, but really trying to bring as much value as I can to the community, just like you have. Like you inspired me in the beginning years, and we've kind of found our different ways of giving back to the community and growing our own lives, our relationships with our families and our business and the community, and it's amazing to see how much growth has happened in really a short amount of time. But so much has happened, it seems like it's been a long time. It seems like forever, but it's only been like a little over a decade. So for you, maybe a little bit longer, but I didn't stumble upon you until 2014. You and a lawn care millionaire, Geek to Freak. Those were the OGs. And then I stumbled upon Blake B&B. Like I think he had just started right at that time too, but you guys were already doing it for like a little while. But Top Notch, Blake, like some of these guys were just popping up, Spencer Lawn Care, they were all just popping up. So, and I was like, man, I want to be a part of that. Like, first of all, no one's talking about what I'm dealing with. Like I literally just started my business. Everyone's already a year or two in, or the lawn care millionaires, like decade in, or Geek to Freak's been doing his whole life. So I'm like, but no one's talking about like this very beginning, like what do you do if this, what do you do when that, and I wasn't getting that information from anyone. Like it's great to learn about 2 crews versus 3 crew and all this stuff, but like in the moment I needed answers. So I just kind of like figured stuff out and stumbled through it, and I just started sharing that on social media. I started sharing my trials and tribulations, right? Like, hey, this this worked, or I'm struggling with this. And like people would comment and actually help me on my videos, and then people would say, oh, wow, like top notch. Like, man, I've been doing this a long time. I didn't even think about that. That's a really good idea. Or thanks for reminding me. Cause sometimes you do it for a while and you kind of forget, you complacent. So it's good to have the rookies, the new bucks come in and with a fresh new mindset and perspective, and you're like, oh, that's a good idea, or oh, I forgot about that, we'll have to start doing that again. So that was kind of me 10 years ago, and it's evolved from there, of course. So but you were definitely one of the original folks that inspired me to create content and be a part of this community. It's been awesome.
That's awesome, man. I love it. I posted a picture on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok about the first
Yeah, the
meetup,
first meetup.
and
Yeah.
then
Pleasure Ridge Pizza.
in Louisville, Kentucky, bro. There was
Yeah.
like, how many people was there?
I mean, that one, that was the second year. That was 2015, and that was I'd say like maybe 40-ish people, like not in that picture, because that was at the very end, right? So many people had kind of like peeled off and left. So like who was in that picture was the legit OGs, right? Like the community and those of us that were creating content. That was who was squeezed up in that room. So there's probably like maybe 20 of us in that general vicinity. But I think there was a good 40 to 50 people, because they were inside, outside. We were still playing cornhole and people were still walking around, and there was room, right? But there was like groups of people talking to you and talking to Stan and talking to Blake and talking to Greg, and people calling me over, giving me a beer. And I'm like, what in the world? I just started YouTube and people already know who I am. So yeah, that was a fun scene. But it was 10 years ago. I was telling Greg this a while back, because spoiler alert, this, he's coming back to Equip just for the rally. I mean, I don't know what else he's going to do, but he said he's going to the YouTube rally, so he might just blow in and blow out, but he's going there. And I told him it's been 10 years, right? So it's the last time he went was in 2015. That picture was 10 years ago. I was like, it's a 10-year anniversary. He's just laughing. So it's pretty cool.
It's amazing, bro. You did all this work behind the scenes, and you continue to do, and you literally created the avenues and structured everything so that the community could keep growing, the YouTube rally and all that. And you're a huge player, like in front on social media, and then pulling the strings behind the scenes to build it up. And I saw this post that well, tell us about the event, the events you have coming up literally in October.
I mean, there's a lot. It's a big week. Like literally that week impacted me. In 2015 was the first time I went to the GIE at the time, right? Shout out to Erica Krupp in there. She still needs to get her hotel booked. She still needs to get on the program. They're all going to be booked out. She's going to be rooming with somebody. But the first year that I went, it was still called the GIE Plus Expo in 2015. And so, I mean, I met I met you and Greg and everybody else that was there, Blake, Top Notch, Stan, like the whole crew was there. And I met everybody and so I met everyone. So that was exciting, right? Like I had been following all of you for a year. I had started my business for a year. So I was a year into my business. That was my second year. Technically 2015 was my second year in business. And I've been listening and watching all you guys. I started creating content, and then some folks knew who I was and were like, hey, grab a beer. And then two different people came up to me, and this is why just stay with me for a second. This is why I am who I am and why I've done what I've done or continued this, because two different people came up to me separately in 2015 at Pleasure Ridge Pizza, and they said, thank you for sharing the content that I shared, sharing my journey going from corporate America to lawn care and changing my life, because it inspired them to do the same. And it's changed their life. And one of them actually had tears coming down their eyes, and they both shook my hand again. This is two separate interactions, but two different people. And that was, I can't even explain that. Like, it's one thing to talk like we are right now, and you see comments coming through. There wasn't even that back then, right? 2015, there was no live streaming or StreamYard or anything like that. It was just on the cusp with like Facebook Live and Periscope and all that stuff. But like we were just making videos on YouTube and posting stuff on Instagram and wherever else, and having, not live comments, right? So it was a different interaction. And even with live, it's still not the same as meeting someone face to face and them looking at you in your eyes and thanking you for something you said or did. it becomes very real in that moment, good or bad, right? Sometimes you could have said the wrong thing, or you could have, some people get upset with stuff like, but 9 times out of 10, people come up to you to share their true gratitude and appreciation. And when they're emotional about it's just like, it really hits home. And there's nothing, you can't explain it. You can only experience it. And that made me realize, wow, I've actually made an impact in a short amount of time. Imagine what I could potentially help with if I really spent time and energy focusing on creating impact. And that the rest is history. So you fast forward to now, and the GIE/Equip, Equip Expo has become kind of like my favorite week. It's the Super Bowl of our industry, and I've done so many things over the years. Garnered attention from the show management themselves, OPEI, who manages the show. They're a trade organization. They have their board members are made up of all the CEOs of all the top businesses in our industry, like Steel and Echo and Toro and every brand you've ever used or heard of. They're the board members, right? And they represent, OPEI represents our trade, landscaping and lawn care, and then they go to the federal and state governments and they negotiate stuff, talk about safety and all these things on our behalf. So they run and own Equip. So I, befriended them. That's just my thing. Like I'm really good at networking intentionally and just a natural personality trait of mine. But I leaned into this 10 years ago and became intentional to make that impact. So I became intentional with my networking. So, I have a relationship with OPEI, now Equip, and that's evolved. So there's just so many things that now I do throughout the week just to find ways to create impact. So everything from where it all started, right? The meetup at Pleasure Ridge, which we affectionately named the YouTube rally. And that's just grown so much that I had to move it to different venues and just see where, how far we can go with this, right? So we have that every Thursday night. So we got that again, 6 p.m. at the KICC, the Kentucky International Convention Center, which is downtown Louisville, right down the street from the Yum Center and the Galt House and all these popular landmarks. It's literally right next to 4th Street Live. So you can walk out of the Kick, as they call it, and there's
Nice.
4th Street. So, and there's a big parking
Can
garage
you say
there.
the dates real quick so I can put them in my calendar right now? Anybody else who wants to do that?
Yeah, for sure. Let me pull it up real quick, because I only know the dates of Monday and Tuesday because that's my event. But it is the 23rd. So the rally is October 23rd at 6 p.m. And that's going to be at the KICC. And again, it's that picture that you showed, but like times 550, right? Like we've had over 600 people, many years in a row attend, before COVID, after COVID. Like it's just been, a gathering of community. And if if you're listening
Where
to
is
this,
it at
watching
again?
this, it's at the KICC.
What is
It's the
KICC?
Kentucky International Convention Center. Kentucky International Convention Center.
KICC.
Yeah.
Kentucky International Convention Center.
Yeah.
So if you're new here and you've never been to the YouTube rally, you've never been to the Equip Expo, any of that stuff, and you want to come, go and drive. Well, you got to buy a ticket first, but go down, drive to Louisville, Kentucky, get a hotel. You should book it immediately because everything's filling up fast. And not only go to the Equip Expo, but also go to the YouTube rally. It's 6 p.m. Thursday, October 23rd. At the Kentucky International Convention Center. Oh, that's that place, that big KFC place that we went to last time, right?
Well, no,
that gigantic place.
No, that's we're not doing that. That was the Yum Center. This is down the street from that.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happened was we grew so big that we were running out of venues, and Equip and I have a partnership with Equip. We do a lot of things and together, and there was an opportunity because they were renting out the Yum Center for the last 2 years in a row for the concerts. They used to just do everything on 4th Street, but because Equip is growing so big that they can't fit everyone in 4th Street to watch some of these big headline musicians that they have rolling through, like Trace Atkins, right? He came twice, 2 different years, and it just blew up the place. People were like hanging off the balconies and just all these crazy things. So if they could have shut it down, they would have, but it's outside. So, and the weather's kind of been more and more fickle over the years. So they've been looking for indoor areas. and there's multiple different venues down there. But so they went with the Yum Center for 2 years, and they said, hey, we got this huge room upstairs. Do you want to use that? Like this way you can kind of we can keep everything all together. You don't have to spread everyone out, because before that, people were like, the first year with Trace Atkins, people were like, yeah, I don't, they just picked and choose whether they were going to go to the rally or not. Like many people told me, or I found out later, that they just went to get a good spot down in 4th Street, and they didn't even go to Copper and Kings where we were at the time for the YouTube rally. So there was a bunch of people missing for that, and there were some other people that didn't show up because they didn't come at all because of the adjustment in the kids policy or ages or whatever, where kids can't demo, whatever, like that whole thing, at certain ages. So there was a little bit of change there. But so now, being in the same venue with the concerts, people don't have to choose, right? We can go to the rally, and then you just go right next door in the same building to the concert. So we don't have access to the Yum Center anymore because Equip doesn't. I'm not going to negotiate that whole situation. You can't just get that room. Like, you have to have the whole thing. So I probably could have gotten something I looked into the KICC for my own event in the past. So I could have done something like that, but Equip was already going to be there. So I'm like, well, we might as well it's just like coincidentally, we're both there. So it's just same kind of scenario where it's this huge open space, windows, everything's beautiful, just like the room at the KFC, but it's a lot easier to get to. It's not 3 floors and elevators and escalators and all these things. It's literally just, you walk in the front door, up one set of escalators, and there it is. There we are, bang, having a good old time. But like we said, it's all about networking, having those conversations like that. It used to be the first main day. Now everything's spread out so much. Equip just keeps expanding and staying their hours because they're growing so much. And before, and even still now, it was the destination day, Thursday. It is still the day that they're open the longest, indoor, outdoor. So it's like a great time to recap the day, right? Just get together with the community and talk. Like, there's nothing that you're trying to demo or talk to someone on the showroom floor. There's not, you're done with that. And now you can just relax, have a drink, have something to eat, get some swag from our brand partners that are paying for all of it. So it's free for all of you to attend, as long as you have an Equip, expo badge and all that. And you just have a good time, just networking and having conversations and talking about the day, talking about life, talking about business. I've heard stories of like the 60-year-old about, like approaching, like retirement type time in their mindset. Like, man, I've been doing this for 30 years in landscaping. And then they have a conversation with a 15-year-old who's on the come up, and the two of them have like amazing conversation and when they have two different perspectives. The young 15-year-old is giving new inspiration and motivation and some fresh perspectives to the senior veteran of the industry that's, older. And then they're obviously sharing their wisdom and experience with the 15-year-old. And I mean, those are the type of conversations that can only really happen at the YouTube rally, to be honest, because it's such a mix of the entire online community that goes there. So that's Thursday. I don't know if you wanted anything else you want to talk about that before I kind of went through the other few events.
Yeah, talk about the other events, and I hope you talk about the LCR Summit.
Oh yeah, well we're gonna save the best for last. I wanted to yeah. No. I mean, you brought up the meetup, so I wanted to go right into that because that's where it all started. It all started for me and for so many of us there, and then just grew from there. And that's when I was like, what else can we do? Like, what other opportunities can we create while we're all there anyway? So, but Equip asked me. This is when I started to really develop a relationship with Equip, and they're just like, man, you guys really have a strong community. They could see the potential. They're like, how can we be a part of the community without like interfering or messing anything up? And I'm like, well, why don't we create an event for you that invites the community to the show for something that's unique to the community? Therein became the morning show, right? That you were a guest of several years ago, where we were on stage in a massive room where the keynote speaker is the day before. It started all the way up in the top room somewhere where no one could find us and you were there for that too. And it was called Influencer Live at the time. And we were just all on stage, just Q&Aing it up, and people were eating it up, and it was great. And then, but there was a couple hundred of us crammed in there, and Quip was like, wow, we got to give them a bigger room. This is crazy. And then COVID happened. So it took a year off. A bunch of podcasts started, including mine and Paul's had started at that point, but no one knew about it. So it blew up. And then I'm like, well, why don't we do something fun and unique and kind of evolve Influencer Live to like a live podcast on stage? So that's what it is now. And then we rebranded it to the morning show, where we literally have 3 separate podcasts. Myself, I start off, and we have got Paul Jameson with the Green Industry Podcast, and then Caleb Allman with the Kid Contractor Podcast. And we have 3 separate live recordings where we interview a guest, just like we're doing here, but live in front of a live studio audience, right? Like I interviewed you one year. You and I were just sitting next to each other in front of 600. Well, at the time, I think it was maybe like 500 people. Again, it grows every year. Last year, we got over 600 people. They were going to other rooms and trying to get more chairs so people didn't have to stand for an hour because it was standing room only, wall to wall to wall. But we're sitting there with you. Last year, I was interviewing Jonathan Potoshnik, the lawn care millionaire. Like, we try to get the best variety of guests, from the millionaires to the solo. Like, all 3 of us have a good variety, right, of guests that we interview live and is recorded so that we can put it on our podcast for those that couldn't attend or want to hear it again. And there's time for Q&A in the audience. If you remember, people were able to ask you or me questions in the audience. John Pajak was running around with a microphone and people were asking us questions, and that was all being recorded as well. So it was a very unique experience that has become a destination for Equip. And they're like, yeah, we're always trying to change things, but we don't want to change this. Like this is it. The morning show is really like one of the highlights of the week for Equip and for our community. So that's amazing. That's on Thursday morning at 8 a.m. So again, the show's not even open yet at 8, but you can get in and get with your badge and go right in next door to the main keynote room. You can't miss it. There'll be big banners and signs everywhere. You just walk in, wherever you walk in, go to that main lobby, and there it is. But it's going to be a good time. I'm interviewing Stan Dirt Monkey Genetic this year, getting him back on there. We have Cornell Mack, and then we have with Mac Landscaping, and then we have Jeremy Towboy with Northern Georgia Landscape Management, NGLM. But he's down in Atlanta. He's got a big business. We were down there a couple different times making some YouTube videos and connecting, and he's at all the different trade shows, and he's becoming a really good friend of the community and offers a lot of wisdom from his experience, and has been on podcasts as well. So he's going to be interviewed. So we got some great guests this year at the morning show. So if you're there and you're early, you'll get a good seat up front, and there you go. So the morning show. So that kind of rounds out that day of Thursday, right? And then throughout the week, we have Pod Row, which is something that you will have also witnessed and been a part of, where we set up an area, a booth space with a bunch of podcasters, and we're there for however many days of the show. In this case, it's 3 days of the show: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A whole bunch of us will be there podcasting, interviewing all kinds of guests, from brands to CEOs of big companies to solo owner operators, everyone in between, and just getting great content. So that's going to be in the new content creator space, which is over on the south wing, south lobby. Like when you walk in the main door that everyone thinks of on the front, you walk in and normally you just go straight into the expo, or you can go left to the keynote, or right. There's like this random lobby
Naylor,
down there. Yeah.
Are you talking? Can you hear me clear?
Yeah. I can hear you good.
I turned my headphones down a little bit. Are you talking about a different event now?
I'm just talking about Pod Row, where we're going to have.
What event were you talking about before Pod Row?
The morning show.
Okay, so
on Thursday morning at 8 a.m.
Oh, Thursday morning at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
Inside of the expo.
Correct. Yeah.
Wait, let me take out my calendar. That's Thursday morning, the 23rd at 8 a.m.
Yes,
inside
sir.
of
the expo
in Kentucky Exposition Center.
Yeah.
Inside of the Big Equip Expo, Thursday morning, 8 a.m. You're going to see the morning show, and it's a big conference room. You can't miss it. It's right when you walk in the front doors, you turn right, and it's right there. And there will be like hundreds and hundreds of people. So the morning show, 8 a.m.
8 a.m.
And then,
okay. Yeah.
So then what's the next event you're talking about?
I was just, so that it's not an event, it's just Pod Row, where we have our podcast set up, like when we were
all the way in the back, right? You have all the tables set up with all the different podcasts.
Yeah, Yeah, but
Yeah.
this time we're going to be over when you walk in off kind of to the right. There's another little lobby there where we're going to be set up, and Echo is going to be there with their social media lounge that they always have, and then we'll be there podcasting. So it'll be a
So
good.
when is Pod Row going to happen?
It's just all day, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Like during the show hours, like when the
Oh, so
show's
anybody
open.
walking around, they're going to see Pod Row. Okay,
Correct.
awesome.
Yeah, it's not like a one-time event. It's just like a booth area that we're going to be in the lobby. If you want to stop by, say, hey, you want to get on a podcast, all that good stuff. I mean, who knows who we'll be interviewing that you might want to hang out with or meet. So it's just a good opportunity for us to get content while we're there and kind of have like a hub for that. So, and then so we're good with that. I mean, there wasn't too much
Yeah.
details of the Pod Row. Then last but not least, and to answer Erica's question, the LCR Summit is coming back to Louisville, Kentucky, Monday, Tuesday at the Galt House, and it's going to be which. If you go to lcrsummit.com, there's going to be, because we probably won't have time to go through all the details, but there's
But
going to
you
be a
said it's Monday and Tuesday?
Monday and Tuesday, the 20th
Your
and
event, the
21st.
LCR Summit.
Correct. The
Yeah,
LCR
that's that
Summit.
high level event. Monday and Tuesday. Okay, at the Galt House. I'm opening my
Correct.
calendar. This is how I look at my calendar, bro.
I
It's packed.
gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, keep going.
No, but if you go to lcrsummit.com, it'll have all the details and Q&A at the bottom, like where's it going to be, what hotel should I stay in, like all that stuff is all going to be at the bottom there. So there might be people with questions that won't get answered, or they just didn't they didn't ask the question, or they hear this later. So just lcrsummit.com has all the information, including, what we're going to be doing there. But ultimately, what I wanted to do several years ago was yet again create another opportunity for us to get together and learn, not just network, but actually learn at a higher level, right? A summit is a gathering of leaders. So, I mean, you've been there as a speaker. We had Jonathan Batoshnik again last year, the Lawn Care Millionaire. We've had Stan there, Paul, John Pajak, Marvin Salcido, Eric Triplett, the Pond Digger. He's coming back this year. We've got Jonas Olson this year. John Pajak is coming back this year. Paul's coming back this year. Mark Bradley's going to stop by and do a little fireside chat with me. Mark Bradley with Leanscaper and used to own a software service that he sold and all that. So, and we're going to have a lot of surprise guests. Like Mike Andy showed up last year. He actually bought a ticket and attended. He came to Louisville just for that. I don't even think he stayed for the rest of the week. No, he didn't, because he told me on Tuesday he was catching his plane Tuesday night to head back home. He literally just flew in for the summit so that he can get the knowledge, the info, network, see Jonathan Batoshnik for the first time in a gazillion years, because he was out for the count, like traveling and everything, and after he sold his CRM and all that. So it's 2 days of just literally immersing yourself in what you need to improve in your business. Like, we structure it in such a way that over the course of 2 days, you're going to focus on mindset, skill set, and tool set, so that you can, and Erica knows because she was there last year, and it will transform your whole business and then your life, right? Because they're both connected. If you're having a bad day at work, typically it's hard for you not to bring that home. So if you can restructure your business in a way that serves you instead of you being a servant to it, then you will come home with more energy, and you'll come home, a much better person, more positive, and then you'll have a much better mindset. So that's what we really focus on. I mean, we're dialing in all the key components, knowing how to be profitable in your business, knowing how to get the most out of your time in your business, not to waste time, employees, like how to find the best people, how to train them, how to keep them, how to create that company culture. Jonas Olson, the pest control millionaire, he has over $10 million in revenue right now in his business. He's got multiple locations. He's one of the prodigies of Jonathan Batoshnik. He was in Jonathan's coaching group back in the day. He was one of them. And so he learned a lot. He had a landscape business at that time, and he sold it and went all into pest control because he saw more potential there where he is, where he currently resides. So he's been blowing that up. So he's got a lot of information and experience with company culture. And he told me on a podcast recently, he thought that was just kind of like a thing, like, oh yeah, know your numbers. Oh yeah, company culture, like he just thought it was just like a thing that people say, like, yeah, whatever. until he finally embraced it and realized how important that is. And now he can literally go into any of his location and he can just feel the company culture. Is it good or is it not? Do I have to dial it in, dial it back, dial it up? Like, what's going on here? You can just feel it. So he's going to be, there having a whole presentation about that. And like I was saying, there's going to be some surprise guests that some are on the site on lcrsummit.com, and some are going to be some surprise pop-ups. They're going to have a book and all kinds of stuff that they're going to be giving out for free. So lots of great value, Q&A panels, lots of opportunities to network. It's a smaller event so that it's not like you're overwhelmed with this huge crowd like all the other events that we have, like the YouTube rally and the morning show where there's hundreds and hundreds of people. It's going to be very overwhelming. So to be able to talk to everyone, let alone the actual presenters, right? But at the LCR Summit, not only do you get to talk to the presenters, in some cases you can have lunch with them, and in some even more cases you can have dinner with them. So there's a lot of opportunities to network and learn with some of the best in the industry. It's going to be an amazing time. I mean, last year blew my mind. I was so pumped for last year, and it exceeded my expectations, and I had nothing but great feedback from everyone. I mean, nothing was perfect. Nothing is perfect. There was room for improvement for this year. But ultimately, it was a huge transformational experience for everyone that attended, including myself. I was like, wow, this really took me to the next level. And now I need to level up for everyone next year, which is coming up in October. So make sure you hurry up and get your ticket. Because by the way, we're saying all this as if you have all the time in the world. Depending on when this is live, but if you're listening to it later or watching a recording, it's in October 20th. So you got to get your hotel, your rooms, whatever, come in Sunday night so that you can get there early on Monday. And then you're there till Tuesday, and then Equip starts then. But if you don't want to stay for Equip, you can leave, whatever. But some people are coming from other industries just because there's that much value in the LCR Summit, because it's for landscape contractors. It's for contracting. It's not just for mowing lawns, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the business of the business, right? And the mindset of the business and the skill sets of the business. We're not just focusing on the tool sets when it comes to, a window or scooping poop or mowing a lawn or digging holes to install a pond, or spraying pests. We're not even talking about that at all. You can talk about that on your own and during breaks, but up in the front of the room, we're focusing on mindset and skill set so that you can take those things with whatever tool set you have and make your business the way you want it to be. Like I said, build a business that serves you instead of you serving it. So that's all at lcrsummit.com. And we have less than 20 seats available right now. So that's the other thing that I wanted to say. So time is of the essence, because if you wait too long, there might not be any seats left. So.
When you talk about the LCR Summit, your entire energy amplifies.
Yeah, well, and I talk really fast when I get super energetic, so I gotta try and slow myself down every now and again. But I'm trying to be sensitive of everyone's time,
Yeah, dude, that was a lot. That was awesome. So the LCR Summit is October
20th and 21st.
What time does it start in the morning?
9 a.m. 9 to 5, Monday and Tuesday.
Bro, you had this one dude on stage last time I was there. He was talking about he was a YouTube coach.
Yeah,
I took so many notes, bro, and I went home and I reviewed all my notes. I learned so much shit.
Yeah.
Dude, I would have paid I don't know, $2,500 for that specific information at that time.
Yeah.
It was very good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So
and
LCRsummit.com.
last year, Stan literally screen shared his phone on my board, my digital blackboard there. And he was literally showing us his analytics of his Instagram account. And he's like, I don't show anyone this or tell anyone this, but you guys, whatever, here you go. And he's just literally breaking down. This one got 5 million. And he's just busting out all of the analytics of his reels and breaking it all down, how he goes viral. It was even probably more impactful than Jeremy's YouTube thing. But regardless, those things are good. I don't want people to think, well, what do we learn about YouTube and all that stuff for? Well, because we're in 2025, folks, the day of AI and digital presence and technology and all that. You need to actually learn how to market yourself online. Your business will never grow if you don't market. I've talked to and heard so many stories of multi-million-dollar businesses that say business is slow, their leads are slow, because they don't, and they don't market. You ask them, how much are you marketing? When's the last time you marketed? What's your marketing campaign? Oh yeah. Like it's like they assume that it's just going to keep coming in, but the faucet is going to stop flowing. Like the water is going to stop flowing if you don't keep, the pump and the whatever, like keep priming the pump. There you go. And just keep it going. You got to keep your marketing engine going. And if you haven't even done it at all, you have to start it. So using social media is one of the best ways, because that's where everybody is. So we are also teaching you how to create content for your business, not just to be like a YouTuber, but to actually market your business. So that's why we're talking about YouTube and Instagram and all that, because that's how you're going to grow in the future. That's how you can grow now. And then it's only going to get more prevalent in the future. And people they're just going to be looking up stuff online, and they're going to just click on what is the best online, and that's it. So that's why we're going to be talking about that as well. So hope to see you guys there.
Look who's trying to get my attention, my Yorkie.
I see.
Did Daddy give you rotisserie chicken for dinner?
Yeah. It's dinner time.
I did.
That's why. Yeah.
All right, bro. So where can everybody find you?
Well, the best thing right now is to go to lcrsummit.com to get a lot of the information that we're talking about. But I'm all over social media as LCR Lawn Care Rookie. You just type any of those in Google and you'll see all my stuff, or on any platform.
Sweet. Awesome. And we're wrapping up here on the podcast at the time of this recording, because you're the special guest on tonight's Untrapped Alliance, our private group. And what are you going to be teaching and sharing with us? We're going to go deep.
Yes, sir. Well, like you alluded in the very beginning, I discovered that nature has a framework, and if you apply certain business principles, you can actually, it all aligns with the framework of nature. So ultimately, nature is the greatest production system on the planet. So I discovered how to manage your life and business following the framework nature provides throughout the year. So there's manage your time, manage your money, and ultimately your energy. Like that's what nature does. Nature is the biggest, like I said, the greatest production system. It's all about energy. And there's 4 seasons to that. It's cyclical. So if we follow that cyclical framework, then we will actually be more profitable, have more energy, have more time, and ultimately have a better business and a better life. So I discovered that and been putting all of this into play, and I've been using this all in my business all this time, and I've just been putting it all together now and created this 4-season business success system. So I'm excited.
I love it, bro.
I've been sharing it, like little bits and pieces, but now I can do it all in one shot. So it'll be good.
Okay, so everybody here listening, open up your browser, go to lcrsummit.com and get your tickets for Naylor's live event. It's amazing. I've been there myself. It's totally worth it. If you're going to the Equip Expo, especially, go there a couple days early and check out the LCR Summit. And then also check out the Untrapped Alliance, which we're going to be live on here 8 p.m. Wednesday nights. KeithKelfis.com/alliance. And I will see you in a bit. And for everybody listening, thank you so much for listening to the show. We're also on Apple and Spotify. We're about to cross 1 million downloads on the Untrapped podcast. So later, everybody.
Deuces.
Bye.